Hello and welcome back to the Moebius Chronicles. Today I wanted to do something a bit different. We won't be focusing on one single book, but I will be looking more comprehensively to almost all, of the Moebius art books and catalogues that have been released from the 70s to today. And giving you my top 3 must-haves plus some honorable mentions. A couple of clarifications before we start. I won't be considering the comic books, but just art books and catalogues, or exhibition catalogues, to be clearer. I will not be doing a one-by-one comparison because neither you nor I have the whole day here, but I will definitely talk about them and dive into the ones that merit more attention. Alright, let's go. As you can see here, there is a lot to go through, so much that I had to use my carpet to actually showcase these. So, to make it simpler, I grouped them in different categories. Let's start with the first one and see what is noteworthy here. The first group is the old school stuff, spanning from the mid-70s to the early 90s. Here we have a lot of variety, Futuropolis being the oldest of the bunch, with some interesting early day illustrations, but not something I would pursue. We also have 88 collecting his abstract paintings, which were also later printed in the Laszlo Parker book 3 decades later, and which is much easier to find if that is something you are keen on. We then have Metallic Chronicles and Chaos, which are excellent and have been printed in a single volume very recently, so don't go looking for the old ones, the new one is cheaper. But the ones that are generally more sought after are what I call the quartet. Celestial Venice, Made in LA, Fusions and Starwatcher. The last of which I actually do not own, but I do own the previous edition called The Memory of the Future. Starwatcher is basically the same book with some updates, including the ultra-famous Starwatcher illustration. This one is a lot cheaper to find, and I simply have not had a reason to purchase the other book, since the extra art included in the revised edition is found elsewhere in my collection. These 4 are absolutely gorgeous books, but if I had to pick one from this whole pile, that would be Fusions. Not only it is the thickest of the bunch, but also has a lot of variety and some of the best illustrations of them all. I think it is often forgotten in the mix, but Fusions definitely takes the crown here. Moving on, we have the Italian catalogues. Moebius has had an Italian fan base for a very long time, and Italy has often hosted and curated personal exhibitions of the author as far back as the mid-80s. And these resulted in a series of books. Some great, some forgettable. And among the great ones, I would definitely spotlight the Nuage catalogues of the late 1990s, which I actually reviewed in depth in another video. So I will link that in the description. These were a collection of 4 books with a lot of crossover content, but if I had to pick one, that would be the White Infinito from the Venice exhibition of 1998. I call it the White Infinito because there is a blue one too with the same name, just FYI. It is also the most expensive of the bunch, of course, but still a very, very good catalogue and probably in the top 3 of the best exhibition catalogues ever made, even if very few people talk about it. Then we have some minor German catalogues. I don't have many, but the most interesting or famous are here. Generally speaking, they are very text-heavy and don't have anything you cannot find elsewhere, so I would just forget about these unless you speak German. Harsh, but fair. I'm sorry, Germany, but you will have your redemption moment later in this video, I promise. Next we have a mini group which are the books dedicated to Blueberry. There is very little out there which exclusively focuses on the Blueberry character from an art point of view. And here is where we find one of my absolute favorite from my entire collection, and one that nobody talks or knows about. Blueberries. This book is absolutely gorgeous. I did a full flip through of this one in a separate video, so I will link that in the description. But if I had to reduce my entire collection to 10 books, this would definitely make the cut. You should absolutely look for it. Last but not least, we have the modern era books, roughly from the 2000s to today. We have the notebooks, which include the Fauna of Mars, Laszlo Parker, which I mentioned before, and that was not even originally a notebook, Les Arts Rêveurs, which is brand new, link to the full review of this is below, and the legendary 40 Days in Desert B, which every fan should have a copy of. That is non-negotiable. Moving on, we have a bunch of French catalogues and books, Traité de Génie, inside Moebius, not to be confused with the multi-volume comic with the same title, and Transform, which is madly expensive and not worth your time. I made a full review of this in a separate video, so the link will be in the description as usual. Then we have Arzac Le Petit Panthéon, which is the first of a series of books focusing on the diverse Moebius characters. So volume 1 is Arzac, and it is very, very good. I'm secretly hoping for Blueberry to be next. Again, leaving the link to the full review below. Also good to know that this book is in English. We also have The Art of Edina, which is a beautiful book with some really unique art, including the full Mystère Montrouge portfolio. Absolutely worth buying. And to conclude, we have the heavy hitters. Another Italian exhibition catalogue, Alla ricerca del tempo, which is very well put together, and the beast of a book, which is the Max Ernst catalogue. I did say that Germany will be redeeming itself, and here we are. This is not only in English, but it is magnificently curated. The art selection is fantastic, the print quality is excellent, and the text sections are extremely insightful. Okay, so if my house was burning down and I had to save 3 of these, which would I pick? Well, at number 3, I would put Blueberries. This book is absolutely gorgeous. It really shows off Moebius' technique and attention to detail. It shows art that is not seen anywhere else, and if you're a fan, you must get yourself a copy. At number 2, I am putting Fusions. It covers some of his best early work, and I never get tired of shuffling through it. Such a beauty. And at number 1, I must put the Max Ernst catalogue. This is without a doubt the best Moebius art book out there. The art selection, the insightful text, the fact that it is over 280 pages long, all come together to make a wonderful book, and one that you will never regret buying or gifting. And if I still have space in my bag before my house has fully burned to ashes, I would give a honorable mention to 40 Days in Desert B. It's more of a notebook than an art book, but that distinction goes out the window once you have seen what's inside. Without a doubt, a must-have as well. That was it for today. What do you think? Which are your top 3, and is there anything I missed that you would have included here? Let me know in the comments below, and please like and subscribe so that you don't miss the next time a video drops. In the meanwhile, have a great day and catch you next time. Bye.